Welcome to the Mount Rushmore podcast, where you, the listener, play a huge part. Here's how it works. My good buddies Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
Debate the top 4 of any given topic. I'm the judge, but you, the audience, are the jury. We post our topics on Facebook, and we want to hear your votes and responses. We love to hear from you. The episode we are debating this episode is the Mount Rushmore of Cats. Who chose this?
That's Richard's, but man, that was so much energy for an episode about cats.
Good morning. Our feline friends are calling on the line. Let's talk to a cat right now. It's Al Stewart, Year of the Cat. Okay, maybe that's one choice. Toonces.
All three of us are cat owners, right?
We're cat owners.
That's why I came up with the topic.
Oh, I love it.
I know we all love our kitties.
Yes.
Michael has 2. I have 2.
Yes.
Jeff's got 1.
I love cats.
Such a strong word.
Yeah.
For me
Yeah, I
right
know
now
we
because
both
cats.
tolerate our cats. Mm-hmm. All 3 of us do.
I feel like there's a different relationship. I feel like dogs are a big exclamation mark, or cats are like a question mark.
They are a question mark of the pet world.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes the words before that question mark are "screw you," or dogs are like "yeah, love you." Usually, normally.
Right.
Okay, you chose it.
I chose it.
Okay, and it's just because we
all had cats, and I think I was petting your cat on the way out the other day, and I thought, what a good cat. You have a very good cat, Jeff.
Oh, thank you very much.
You do have a good cat.
Lily Marshmallow is her name, and she's listening to the podcast. She's a longtime listener.
Yep.
Yeah.
First time meower.
First time meower. Yeah. Okay, you chose it, Richard. So Michael Winfield goes. What's your first one, Michael?
This was a very interesting topic, and obviously I hope none of us have our own cats on there, right?
I didn't put my
No,
cat.
I did not put my cat.
Good, because cats are kind of awful. And number one awful cat is the Cheshire cat.
Oh, the Cheshire Cat. This was chosen by Erica White and Janice Smith Kane. Yeah.
Made popular from Lewis Carroll's Alice Through the Looking Glass, and later on even more famous by like Sterling Holloway's performance of the Cheshire Cat in Disney's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And I probably keyed into that performance, like the Sterling Holloway performance, because I've just been watching so much Disney stuff with my kid.
Yeah.
Like every other day, we're either watching The Jungle Book and he's Kaa the Snake, or we're watching Winnie the Pooh.
And he's also caught the snake, literally strangling and eating Winnie the Pooh.
And but like, you know, the character, the description of the Cheshire Cat dates back to, you know, the 19th century Lewis Carroll books, but it dates back even further of like this kind of grinning, mischievous cat. It's this British short hair tabby sort of thing. And it has like even some other more boring Wikipedia deeper dives that who cares. But the cat itself within like the Lewis Carroll story and within, you know, the Disney is like a cat that is very difficult to deal with. He's there and he talks in riddles, like most of like the Lewis Carroll stuff. It's all dream logic and it's all riddles. But cats are just by nature very mercurial and very difficult. And you think that you can understand them at some point. You think you know what they want, and then they disappear and all this stuff. And like the grinning Cheshire Cat was like the first thing I thought of when Richard thought of this topic.
Yeah. Alice doesn't encounter a lot of people ready to help her. And I think Cheshire Cat is he seems relatively harmless compared to like isn't there like a centipede wants to smoke her out or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and other people want to kill her.
He's not helpful, but he's not unhelpful, which I think really speaks to how cats are.
He's chaotic neutral.
Yes. They're there just to kind of exercise their own nature, which is a nature which is totally understandable. Yeah. Being that we are all cat owners, I know that, Jeff, your cat is very sweet.
Yeah, very docile.
I have 2 cats. Mia, who just hides under the bed and you barely see her and is very annoying at times. And then Mayakovsky, who is also just annoying at times. He's just in your face, on your lap, meowing at you, only wants to eat. And like, I don't know, Richard, what are your cats like? And I imagine can be any combination of everything.
I've got one cat who is generally very sweet and cat-like, but she pees on the bed, which I guess is also cat-like. Yeah. The other cat, so that's Hera. And then Sebastian is the biggest daddy's boy and will like try to jump on me as I'm like walking around, like come at me and full on leap like into my chest with his claws out because he wants me to pick him up so badly.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a very weird like relationship, and it's kind of uncomfortable.
I think it's funny that we've described an animal that's been domesticated, but barely. It seems like cats invite themselves into our homes to deal with us on a moment by moment basis.
It's just to whatever their liking is.
Yeah.
Like, I think cats probably peaked in, the Egyptian times. They're like, oh, I guess we're gods now.
Yeah.
So
there's nowhere really to go but down after you.
So we're just going to be kind of like,
gods.
We're cool to you sometimes, we're dicks to you sometimes, we're helpful, we're unhelpful. And I think the Cheshire cat of this grinning mercurial thing is just a pretty perfect encapsulation of what a cat is.
Yeah, in introducing Alice to a world in which not all of whom she encounters will be ready to help her out. So, and Richard also, I think that's a good point, is they can be very different from animal to animal, and that's what this that's what the survey that we put out there in the world kind of responded. A lot of different responses. So, what's your first one, Richard?
All right, so my first one is everyone's favorite Monday hating lasagna loving cat. Top Cat. No. No, Garfield.
Garfield.
In the Top Cat, Garfield, Heathcliff trifecta of screwy cartoon cats.
Oh, don't forget the Cadillac cats.
I've forgotten them.
They were part of the second part of the Heathcliff
they were?
hour.
Top Cat.
Yeah.
Top Cat doesn't even belong there with Heathcliff and Garfield.
You don't think so?
No.
So
But Garfield.
What are the aspects of... He's ubiquitous.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
So here are people who love Garfield ranked.
Yeah.
So you've got 8-year-old kids.
Yeah.
70-year-old cat ladies.
Yeah.
Not really sure who goes third.
Okay.
And then fourth, very far down at the bottom, is people who post comments to Garfield cartoons online where it seems like they're talking to Garfield as if he's a real cat who can understand.
Whoa.
Those are the best comments. Richard keyed me into to Garfield comics commentary some time ago. And if you want to spend a day, get into like the comment section of Garfield. And if you want to go deeper, Mallard Fillmore.
Oh my! Well, that's a cesspool of MAGA scum.
It is.
Oh wow!
But you know what always gets to that MAGA level eventually? Mm-hmm. Garfield.
Yeah.
They always every conversation just delves so deep. It's amazing.
Wow. So I'm going to read you today's.
I love it.
I'm going to read you today's strip, and then some of the comments that are attached to this.
The 8-year-old me is delighted because I had every.
You had
Garfield.
every Garfield.
I had every Garfield book.
Garfield gets fat.
Garfield, even up to Garfield's 9 Lives, the weird artistic one, where different artists had interpretations of Garfield's writings.
I love that at one point. Was it Bill Patterson? Who's the guy Garfield?
No, Jim Davis.
Jim Davis was like, "Fuck it, you draw it."
Yeah,
I got too much. I got too much on my hands. Okay, so Garfield walks in with a clipboard, and John's there, and Garfield says, "I'm not quite sure. We'll get into this. I guess that's what he had thought bubbles." Mm-hmm. Time for your performance review, John. Oh my. This might be a good time to bribe me with some treats. That's the whole thing.
That's the comic.
That's the entire comic. Let's first off, let's acknowledge Jim Davis for phoning it in for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
Some of the comments are from Templo SUD. What sort of treats did you have in mind, Garfield? Ferns?
What the hell does that mean?
He must like.
He likes to eat some house plants.
To eat ferns at some point.
To which Light Painter replied, "I hope not ferns. Too ordinary for Garfield. I agree with Amarillo pizza or lasagna are much more worthy." Or, so what Garfield is saying is that John has to pay him just to do whatever?
What the hell?
That's Cody Cab. Here? Watcher is, John, shouldn't it be the other way around? My favorite is Jason Snake Lover. Is there ever a bad time to bribe him with treats? Take care and may God bless.
What's going on here? Who do they think they're talking to?
I think they think that this is a real cat, and these are like courtroom drawings.
I love
or something.
I love the idea that Jim Davis also spends time on these message boards, and it's just like taking notes. Noted. Garfield should get more tweets just because.
So the whole backstory behind Garfield, if you don't know it, is that Jim Davis was a struggling comic book writer. He had a comic called Norm Nat, Norm with a G-N, Nat with G-N.
Okay.
It was basically Garfield, but with bugs.
Oh.
And someone told him, hey, nobody can relate to this because it's bugs.
Yeah.
So he you could say either commercially smartly or cynically looked at the comic books and realized, hey, there's Marmaduke, there's Snoopy,
there's big cat space not being filled.
Yeah. There's literally a void for a cat comic.
And he's wrong because Heathcliff was out 5 years before Garfield.
Well,
okay, all right, okay.
So it worked. And so this was one of my questions. I mentioned this while I was reading the strip. How does exactly John converse with Garfield? Mm-hmm. I mean, Garfield can't talk.
Yeah.
He has thought bubbles.
Yeah.
But John can read his mind?
No. He doesn't. I think.
But he responds to him. Like, actually, Garfield will think something, and John will respond to that thought.
I don't think that is I don't think that as someone who, when he was like 11 or 12 years old, took a summer vacation to England and brought not but Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield books with him. He doesn't. I don't think he responds to the thought bubble. He responds to his own conversation that's happening independently. So you can include Garfield's thought bubbles within that conversation, but John is just doing his own.
It's like Fight Club, where they exist in the same world, but they're maybe the same person.
I'd like to also think that maybe, as the comic Garfield minus Garfield would point out, that maybe this whole strip is just a look into a young man losing his mind.
Yeah.
And that Garfield is maybe not even there.
I believe it was a very special anniversary within the past week of the time that John drank dog semen at the vet's office. This somehow came up on Twitter, where John takes Garfield
accidentally, by the way, I'm using finger quotes.
If you're a young listener who came here thinking this was Garfield Chat podcast and just been introduced to,
I didn't realize how dark we were going to get on Garfield right away, but here we are. Anyway, John takes Garfield to the vet. He's kind of talking to the vet who he has a crush on, whose name I can't remember. And then he's excited. He sees what he believes to be a cup of coffee.
Arlene.
How
do I know this?
No. Arlene is the name of...
Arlene's her Nermal is the really cute cat.
No. Arlene is the name of the female cat that Garfield has a crush on. Nermal is the cat that is mailed to Abu Dhabi on multiple occasions. Anyway, he's talking to the vet, and he's like, ooh, I would love a cup of coffee, and grabs a cup off of the table. And then she responds with, you're expecting puppies in 9 months, which I don't know if that's the actual gestation period for dogs.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it is implied that he drinks a coffee cup full of dog semen.
Oh, wow. That's heavy duty.
Good stuff.
Garfield.
Patty Cullum, one-time guest on the podcast, listed a lot of those fun Garfield minus Garfield and those hipster iterations. So I would say after 8-year-old kids and 90-year-old women, there's also the fun that people have with the making them hyper banal or hyper surreal by removing certain components.
Yeah, always fun.
Yeah. Some folks who agree with your Garfield love are actually many. Monica Bentley Jennings, Nick Condon, Ricky Rosales, Sammy Sammers, we know her real name, loves Garfield because lasagna and pizza, duh. And then Atticus Yee.
She makes a very good point.
That's his diet is something I think we can all aspire to.
Right.
Yeah.
In shape, which I think I've already reached. So we're in good shape, though.
A lot of Garfield fans out there. Okay, Michael, what's your second?
My second choice is I wanted an internet cat, because internet cats are all the rage. Mm-hmm. And do you guys know Lil Bub?
Lil Bub.
No, do not know Lil Bub.
Here, Richard. Look at Lil Bub.
That is one adorable cat.
Yeah.
It is a cat that suffers from many diseases.
Of course it does.
Including some sort of dwarfism.
Yeah.
Has these...
And also gigantism, which is really sad.
Such a weird, odd, sweet and sour.
Missing a portion of his jaw, and his tongue is always perpetually just sticking out of his jaw.
So somebody put a cat on the internet.
Yeah.
What? How'd that work out? All right.
I don't know. I was trying to... I think part what spurred it was the recent death of Grumpy Cat,
Yes.
R.I.P.
Tartar sauce. Yeah.
I never cared for Grumpy Cat, mostly because of his demeanor. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want a shitty, kind of just unhappy-looking cat around.
Well, apparently he was a very happy cat in real life, IRL. And his brother, who does not have any of the did not have any of the facial diseases or anything that made Grumpy Cat look grumpy, apparently was a real asshole.
Oh.
That's just jealousy.
Yeah.
That is just when one brother gets famous.
Yeah.
That is, it's like the opposite of like Ron Howard and his brother.
Oh yeah. Clint Howard is just sad, unfortunate.
But I think that Clint is gruesome.
Yeah.
To be kind.
He's not the slice of hunkish man that Ron Howard is.
Little Bub, is he following in like the Little Wayne, Little John kind of mold? Okay.
I assume that at some point he has put out a rap album
Yeah.
that is mostly meows.
Sure.
But he was, the internet is very good at something kind of catching fire. And this cat that was born in 2012 in Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh.
My wife's college matriculation.
Yes.
City.
That's we don't talk about that on the show. That's dirty.
So little Bub.
Yeah, Lil Bub has like a weird, like, I don't know how much, internet fame is one thing. Where are you just famous on the internet? Are you just famous on the internet? Where does that take you to be just a cute, gruesome cat on the internet?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that he's had like TV shows like Lil Bub and Friends and Lil Bub's Big Show and like other things. I don't know if that made the owner any money. I believe that he has done stuff for this cat, or with the cat for like the ASPCA, like using a famous cat to raise money for a good cat cause, which I really appreciate because like it's almost like exploiting your kids.
Yeah.
If you don't use that money, if let's say you put your kids in a Michelin tire commercial or an ad,
Your kid's the baby that's inside the tire.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
If let's say one of those kids might be named Michael Winfield, and if let's say there is no college fund resulting from those sorts of ads, or ones for your sister, the same sort of thing. There's a certain resentment that comes out of that. We're like, hey guys, I was in this ad for this Michelin thing in a tire. I was a baby in a thing. Where's my money?
No money.
Michael, were you ever in a Michelin
I
ad?
might have been in one
Are you
in some
serious?
sort of like a Sears or a Michelin or something.
This is the first we're
I know
hearing?
I'm just saying that I appreciate.
Knock, knock.
Who's
knock.
there?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Oh, President Clinton.
Good. Well, former President Clinton.
Well,
Good to
you're
see
always
you.
a president.
Hey.
You're always referred to by your last official title.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, okay.
Bitch Clinton.
Whoremonger.
Awful
Clinton.
person Clinton.
Barely evaded impeachment, Clinton.
Go
okay?
away, Clinton.
The Sax Master. You mean Sax Master? I play at the Harlem Uptown Jazz Festival. They call me Sax Master. Anyway, did you see a little black and white cat? I'm trying to find him. He was walking around, got around here. I don't know if you remember that I had a cat in the White House.
Oh, Socks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I called him Little Bugger.
Oh, really?
But you call him Socks. That's right. They called him that out in the press. That's right. Yeah, you haven't seen him?
No, I would just like to clarify,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
President.
Yeah.
You're currently looking for a pussy?
Oh, dear. Oh, hey, just keep that on the DL there, buddy. Let's keep that on the DL.
It'll be our little secret, trust me.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
do you remember what year you got the cat? 93, 94, 95, something like that?
Something like that. That's right.
Socks still around.
This is Socks, the sequel. That's right. We call him Argyle. That's right. He's
Just making sure, because
That's
that's a long life for a cat.
yeah, no, I'll call him Socks. It's just an easier way to remember the name. Hey, you know what I was thinking of doing? Grabbing a camcorder or something like that, maybe putting them on the internet. Do you think that would work?
Yeah, get that camcorder going, sir.
All right. Okay, thanks, guys. I'll try to find him. Good luck.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
it looks like Socks the cat. The first one, the original.
OG Socks.
Passed away in February 2009.
Oh. darn socks.
Now, was this cat racist? Because this was right when Barack Obama took office. Just making sure. Just making sure that he didn't just die because he's a racist cat.
Could a cat that's a mixture of black and white together be racist?
Good point.
Rest my case. Thanks, guys. Peace out. Hey, guys, what's up?
Oh, you just missed it.
Oh, what?
President Clinton was in here.
Shut the front door. Really?
Literally shut the front door. I think he forgot to shut the front door.
Well, the cat got out.
Cat
got out. No. Oh, that's like a double whammy. Did he mention any other internet cats?
No, he didn't, but I should.
Oh, what's that?
Because my second pick is also an internet cat.
Who's that?
Maru cat.
Hey, Maru.
I love this cat. This is the...
It's the box cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves playing in boxes. Mm-hmm. He does other cute cat shit.
Yeah.
And, I wish I had a Maru cat because my cats don't do cute.
They don't do anything.
They don't do cute stuff that I can then videotape and make millions of dollars and exploit them.
What a generation of people who are just like trying to throw their cats into boxes.
Yeah.
And they're just like, come on, do it. Go in the box. And the cat's just like,
right on the Roomba.
I'll go in that box when I want to go in that box.
Wear the shark outfit and get on the Roomba.
I do like that if you just draw like a circle and a Sharpie, or like put down like masking tape in a square.
Yeah.
The cat will just sit in it because they're just like these
That's what I love. Yes, they're high maintenance. Yes, we have to take care of them. But if you put like a piece of printer paper on the floor, the cat, that's like a resort for the cat. Like, oh, nice. They love that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Christmas is Christmas for cats just because they get to chase little pieces of paper around.
Little paper. What about Maru is compelling? The boxes. I think he also, what he does... What I think about what is wonderful about cats and cats on the internet is they are what we make of them. We interpret their behaviors in different ways, and they are a blank slate. Ultimately, they do have differing personalities, but this cat also does things that shows no cultural boundaries. Right.
Right. He's a Japanese cat, but I mean. I don't think he meows in Japanese.
I don't think so.
Does he do that thing where you walk into like a sushi restaurant and just like waves at you?
Like the
little waving lucky cat, yeah.
What I keep waiting for Maru is to find out that he's sponsored by UPS. And we just fell for it.
It was all a big corporate
ruse.
Stunt.
It was all a big ruse. Okay, so we are at our halftime. I want to remind you guys that you are an important part of this podcast. We love to hear from you. We will be posting some conversation starters out there on the social handles and would love to hear your input. You could also suggest you could also give us whole topics if you'd like. Previous podcast listeners have suggested topics and they ended up being on the show. You don't need to. We'd love to hear from you. We'd also love to hear what you think about past episodes by going back to the page on the thing that was formerly known as iTunes.
Technically, that is accurate.
Yeah. What's it going to be called now? Podcast thing? Mac podcast thing?
I don't know. I'm always overwhelmed just by the fact that we call it podcast because we used to listen to music on an iPod.
Yeah,
and it's
weird.
Just the name of it now rather than internet radio.
And what was a pod then anyway?
Just a brilliant brand name.
Yeah, okay. So go out to wherever you find podcasts and leave us some ratings, leave us some stars. But hey, more importantly, download and listen because we like you to hear us blab our mouths and things like that.
There's got to be a podcast called Podcat, right?
There's got to be a Podcat.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure.
Just making. We're just a shout out to Podcat. Yeah. I'm sure you're a great podcast about cats.
What if that's what cats have is podcasts?
It's just meowing.
It's different meowing.
When they go crazy, sometimes like cats do.
Yeah.
Maybe they just got really excited about the latest episode of Podcasts.
They're super juiced.
And they got like those earbuds. So
it's just like ASMR, and it's just like a feather.
Yeah.
Brushing against.
Oh my god.
It's just the sound of like cat food falling from an automatic feeder, and they're just like so geeked out from it.
That's got to be it. Okay, we are back. Want to thank all the people who are kind enough to give us your opinions on the topic of the Mount Rushmore of Cats. And I would like you to listen as Michael and Richard share the rest of their opinions. And Michael, what do you
got? My third choice is Felix the cat.
Love that cat.
Why did you...
Well, I adore my dear son, who's now 2 years old, Felix, who is the love of my life. He's my best friend. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do everything with him.
Oh,
and there was a certain.
Let me tell you about my best friend.
There you go.
My one joy, my cuddly toy, my up, my down, my pride, my joy. That was a show called The Courtship of Eddie's Father?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Michael,
No, we're talking about Felix the cat.
Sorry, dude. Okay.
Yeah. We're talking about the guy that was popularized on the, the car sales.
Yeah.
the car billboard down in Los Angeles.
To quote LA radio personality Petros J. Papadakis, you got to see that big cat smiling at you. That finger pointing. You know where that finger's pointing to, right? Great savings.
Great savings.
Yeah.
Felix the cat was a popular at the time 1920s cartoon character.
Yeah, back when they had polio and stuff like that.
He was, like his polio episodes where he couldn't stand up were incredible.
Pretty funny.
It was pretty easy to animate with him in the iron lung and all.
He was this wonderful black and white surreal cat character that unfortunately fell to the times of, I'm looking at a certain mouse on your chest.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Mickey Mouse, who captivated everyone with Steamboat Willie and the talkies, and Otto Messner.
The hypnotist?
During the time, the creator wouldn't transfer him from silent films to talkies.
Oh, yeah. This gimmick of talkies.
Because he's a cat. He can't talk, idiots. Hello.
And
wow.
Partially because of that, he wouldn't go with the times. He kind of fell away into history until the 50s, where they reintroduced him with his whole magic bag of tricks sort of gimmick. And, it took another 30 years for him to come back into pop culture, but he kind of fell away into that. Who was the proto Mickey Mouse? It was the
Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit.
Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit, where there's just this guy that was out there doing crazy 1920s, 1930s things that the animation was just surreal.
Was there whistling involved?
Everything was so much whistling. You could just rerun the frames back and forth. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, pretty
They're
much.
just we need this guy to whistle. That's 6 frames. We're good.
We got to fill in another 12 frames. How do we do that?
He had
whistling.
What were his characteristics, or how was he unique?
I don't know. I think he was just kind of silly and a cat and did things.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of 1920s animation, you go back and you watch Betty Boop, and things just happened.
Yeah.
It's just they were on cocaine and they were on so many drugs and booze, and they're just what are we going to have Betty Boop do? What are we going to have Felix the cat do? I don't know. Do things.
Yeah.
Take all of the skin off of this animal and then play it like a xylophone. Okay.
Yeah. So kind of Itchy and Scratchy-esque.
You know what? That is a very good connection, because I think that there is a whole lot of the John Kay stuff that dates back to not 1940s film and not 1950, back to the 1920s and 30s when it was all just keyed into music. It was the musical melodies.
Yeah,
and I think that
Silly Symphonies, musical melodies, Merry Melodies.
Yeah, Merry Melodies. And I think that Felix the Cat was just one of these iconic figures that was just featured on 1920s bombers, and he was featured in he was just this guy that was ubiquitous, kind of like a Charlie Chaplin. And then when the talkies came around, it was oh yeah, here's this mouse that can talk to you, and just got passed by and just kind of faded away for 30 years. It's funny, Felix, my son, sees a shirt that I have that has Felix the Cat on it, and he's like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
And that is all the indictment of this past of a character that you need to know. Is just oh yeah, you're known as someone entirely else.
Yeah.
At this point.
It's funny, his when some film historians evaluate the origins of Mickey Mouse, they denote some of his attire, the white gloves and the shorts that he wears, and then also the fact that most of his face, like Felix, is black, where his eyes and mouth have white around them, and comment that he has origins that evolved out of the minstrel characteristic.
I could see that.
This very cheerful singer, dancer, entertainer as portrayed on stage, and a very beloved character for people who love entertainment.
Are you suggesting it's slightly Step and Fetch It?
Well, I think at the time, if Al Jolson was playing this character, other people were playing it, they considered it almost I hate to say it, almost it would be like saying Eminem is unsophisticated. He's just imitating a certain culture. So he's synthesizing this culture and presenting it to a different crowd, a different audience. So, but I think people at the same, but Steppenfetcher was a beloved performer.
Right.
So in that way, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Felix, in some of those early cartoons, you have to remember that they were aimed at adults. And so when Felix grabs some ether, and gives it to somebody, or he's smoking a cigar, or throws a knife at somebody.
That's so funny that you mentioned both those two things. In that, with my son Felix, we read Curious George a lot.
Yeah,
and he calls him Mickey Mouse.
And the very first the first two Curious George books, one he travels from Africa to the big city, and he goes home. He has a big pile of food. He smokes a pipe.
Yeah.
And he goes to bed. I don't know how to explain smoking a pipe to Felix yet.
Yeah.
And then, in his next adventure, he falls down, breaks his leg, and he goes to the hospital and gets high on ether. Yeah. And he goes loopy and spins around, and they have to wake him up in a bath and so this is a bottle of this stuff.
Yeah.
That smells, that makes you feel silly and makes you fall down. He loves
it's
anything.
Dad's whiskey.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What's funny is, as much as I say those cartoons were also targeted at adults and so therefore had adult themes, childhood hadn't even been invented by the 1920s. So
that's
okay.
True.
You know what's very interesting is I was talking to my dad just the other day, and we were talking about Felix, and my dad. It was right around his birthday, Felix's birthday, and my dad was playing with Felix. We were just sitting at their house, and they were whacking each other with these foam lightsabers.
Yeah.
And my dad, who's all of 72, 74, is just falling down.
Uh-huh.
And
nice.
oh, you got me.
I love
and,
it.
Just totally goofing around. And I was driving with him, telling him we were picking up a old drill press. We're going deep now. But I was it's so great that every day or once a week or a couple times a week you get to see Felix and grow up with him, and he has this connection with you.
Yeah.
And he's I never played with my dad like that.
Oh, wow.
And my dad was born in 1946, and they didn't play like that. Mm-hmm. Me and my dad, we wrestled. We I'm sure Richard, you and your kids wrestle and throw around stuff, but it's interesting a generation or many generations where the dad did not play physically with their kids in a way that we do now with our kids. Felix, I grab him, throw him upside down, bonk him on his head, and he says again. And kids crave this. Just this animated thing. And my dad was my dad never did that.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this drill press.
Oh,
don't tell me.
It is from 19.
Do not tell me any more about it.
Okay, Richard, what do you got?
All right, my third one is, let me start. Let me ask this. Did you know that Garfield has an illegitimate son?
Oh, my gosh. I'm not going to vote for him.
You're damned right he does, by the way. And it's everyone's favorite hairball-spitting, presidential-running, Gene Kirkpatrick-loving, rock star, commie son of a gun, Bill the Cat.
Oh, fun.
Oh, yeah.
Of Bloom County fame.
Sure, of course. Yeah, yeah.
So he was actually created by Berkeley Breathed as kind of an anti-Garfield.
Mm-hmm. Is that right?
This was such a comic strip that was so too old for me at the time.
Yeah.
That was always around. It was just ubiquitous at the time. It was this is the thing that feels important, and the art feels too good.
See, I was the opposite of you. I didn't have I had some Garfield books, but I had all of the Bloom County books. And when I'd go on vacation, that was what I would bring.
That's interesting.
So he actually, so he was created as very specifically hey, let's create a character who is impossible to market. Mm-hmm. And then do this whole series. I think it debuted with this whole series of comic strips about the lovable Bill the Cat, and you can get your doll now. And of course, it's this awful, nasty, scuzzy looking cat with.
I do love that you've chosen the ultimate marketable and the ultimate unmarketable.
Yeah.
It really is the yin to Garfield's yang, except for the fact that that part of the plan fell apart when people wanted Bill the Cat stuff. And now they've sold, millions of Bill the Cat dolls and T-shirts and everything else you could possibly imagine. He's an incredible character. He is, among the things that he has done is he's been as I think I mentioned, a Soviet spy. He was killed in a crash when his Ferrari drove into a cactus at 140 miles an hour. And he was brought back to life by Oliver, the little nerdy character, who was able. The only thing that survived is his tongue. They were able to get a DNA sample from that. He became the leader of the Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh cult in Oregon. Became a televangelist. And at the end of the strip, he had Donald Trump's brain taken out of Donald Trump's body and put into his body.
Wow, I thought Bloom County ended 20 years ago.
Yeah, it did.
Wow.
So this is when Trump was just like rich oaf.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was that Trump was supposedly had one of his anchors from his yacht dropped on him, and his body was crushed, but his brain was fine. So they transplanted his brain into Bill the Cat's body.
Is that the fact that Bill the Cat is a cartoon character that is a counterculture figure, or that is it also seems like Berkeley Breathed did whatever he wanted to do with Bill the Cat. He didn't obey a certain nature like a Mickey Mouse, like a Tom from Tom and Jerry or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have very well. What do you mean by he didn't obey it?
It sounds like he did. He was chaos personified. It sounds like
yes,
but any satirical or social commentary the author wanted, Bill the Cat was ready to go.
Yeah, Bill the Cat was kind of the go-to character for if they needed a antagonist to do something really stupid that they'd then have to go and bail him out.
Yeah.
That would be when Bill the Cat would come in.
Okay.
Which is kind of like a cat.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. What do you think about it?
Totally.
That's very cat-like.
Yeah. Cool choice. Okay. Winfield, your final cat.
I'm glad he remembered my name.
Well, he remembered your last name. So
he looked around the room, and someone was holding up a cue card.
Anybody? Oh, yeah. Winfield.
Then he looked at his microphone and said, I remember his name.
I wish that it wasn't in quotation marks. I don't know what that means, but I just wish
the alleged Michael Winfield, if that is your real name.
Toonces, the cat that can drive a car.
Huge fan favorite. Can I tell you some of the people who chose Toonces? Now, this is, if you're just why you drop in towards the end of a podcast, I don't know, but if you didn't hear it the first time I spieled out,
turning ends.
The aliens have landed at 5:25 in the morning. If you just dropped in, we invite our listeners to give us examples of the things we're debating. And Tom Karki, Craig Rajoy, Whitney Sweeney, Erica White all said Toonces and left us cool animated GIFs and videos. White Toonces.
I like the idea that there's two things. I like the idea that these people think that this cat can drive a car.
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah.
Which obviously no cat can do that because they can't.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like the idea of a violent cat, which is often depicted, whether it's a Sylvester and Tweety, whether it's a Tom and Jerry. Yeah. Cats are strangely violent, and they do what they want. And if you were to put a cat behind the wheel of a car, he would kill you.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I think cats hate you.
Yeah.
But the sketches, the very first one had like Steve Martin in it. And it's just like, oh, wow, look, this is my cat that can drive a car. And it's like, oh, no, look out. And they drive off a cliff. And that's the entire thing. And it feels very much like I think it was a Robert Smigel.
I think it was Jack Handy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Let me check that.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's say, I assume that you're right.
Okay.
Jeff, the comedy person. But it feels like something that is...
I'm not a person.
Uh-oh.
He's a comedy person. He needs to be validated.
It doesn't feel too far away from Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, which is a Jack Handy too.
Sure. Just the concept is very straightforward.
Yeah.
And it's people that get into a car and they assume that they're amazed that the cat can drive a car. And then they all die.
Yeah.
Over and over.
Yeah.
And it's one of those weird, funny, just SNL pop culture sketches that is just like, I know what this is. I know it's going to happen every time.
Yeah.
Yet I'm going to get suckered into it.
Yeah.
And whether he's like super representative of what a cat is, I don't know. I think cats are just kind of evil.
Yeah.
They're just kind of bad for the most part. You let them in your house and you know what? Kiss your couch goodbye.
Yeah.
Because they're going to scratch up. They're going to scratch up the couch that is sitting immediately next to the cat scratching post.
Yeah.
Because they can. They're going to do bad things because they can. They're going to sit on the counter and knock off that glass. Why? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a cat. I do what I want. And I think that cats are so very much that all the time.
Yeah.
Just being, I'm just going to be a cat. And you're going to try to, we talked about this earlier. You're going to try to domesticate me. And you know what? I'm going to knock this down.
Yeah.
It's funny. You see like big cats. You see like cats in the wild. You see like tigers and you see lions. And occasionally they do things that are very cat-like. And you're like, oh, I could have that cougar in my home. And then you're like,
it would maul you to death so fast.
Our cats would kill us if they could. If our cats weren't like, 13 to 19 pounds, they would murder us all the time.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
You did. So anybody who's a previous listener may know that Michael often and Richard sometimes choose categories. And so I was a little bit surprised that there weren't categories. But I would say if there was one that emerged, or multiple ones, one would be animated cats. But then tigers in particular, in terms of cats,
I like, for whatever reason in my head, I kind of blocked it out of like, when Richard posted this, I assumed he wasn't talking about big cats.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've been doing this for now. We're in our 4th year and we've kind of synced up a little bit. And sometimes it's just like
house cats. Yeah.
It felt cats. It wasn't like,
well, our audience chose.
Let's see what Richard's 4th pick is. Maybe.
Allison Cooper chose.
Maybe I've got a big cat for my 4th pick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't, but I might. You never know. No, my 4th pick, Cats.
Cats.
The musical.
The musical Cats.
That's bullshit.
Why? I just said it. Just says it could be anything about cats.
No.
I think he chose this so he could do a little bit of music from Cats the musical, which I have queued up right here.
Oh, do you have some? Oh,
I'm so surprised. I haven't stretched out.
All right, so I've got my ranking of people who love the musical Cats.
Okay.
You got 10-year-old kids this time. They graduated from Garfield. Still got 70-year-old cat ladies.
Yeah.
Still not sure what's in 3rd.
Okay.
The 4th one is anyone who's okay with musicals in theory, but keeps getting tripped up on pesky things like plot and subtlety.
Yeah. Okay. So this is
let me know when you want me to jump in and just destroy you right now. On May 24th.
I actually said Pets, not the musical.
Richard said Rushmore of Cats. The Pets, not the musical.
The musical owned.
Oh.
What a huge
whoopsie
4-point disqualifier.
What if you musical?
Whoopsie! This is like the time that you thought
because I cut
this
out.
Is,
I even joked about it. I cut out all my Rumple teaser material that I had.
Well, this just goes to show I don't pay attention to you guys outside of when we're recording this. I do have a backup if you'd like the back. Would you like the backup, Michael?
No, you know what? This is for the judge to decide.
Okay.
Jeff hates to do this. Jeff hates to actually make actual decisions.
No, it's actually the only thing that helps me is that fact that you did. That's DQ. That can't be. Yeah.
No, even I will admit that's pretty straightforward.
Okay, this will allow me the only time that I can ever bring this up, which is sometime in the mid to late 80s when I was 8 to 10 years old. I went to see Dogs, the musical.
Oh.
Which was the knockoff version of Cats the musical.
Yeah, we just seeing Jackson the musical versus Hamilton.
I don't remember a thing about it other than it was called Dogs. I have never looked it up on the internet, and in the break, I totally will.
Nice.
So what's your backup?
By the way, this is very reminiscent of the montage episode when Michael thought that, I believe you thought that the montage was set to Eye of the Tiger in Rocky 3. And it turns out that was actually the training montage.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you know what? Everybody go back to season 1.
Yeah, double check.
Look that up. Good episode.
It is a good episode.
I had a mea culpa. I didn't do my proper research. I just kind of went along with it.
Sometimes when you screw up, you got to say, I screwed up.
Are we talking about why you chose it?
No, not really.
Go down in a blaze of glory.
No.
Okay.
I came prepared with a backup. Yes. I don't know why I did.
Okay.
Mine is Peter Criss.
All right.
The drummer for Kiss.
Yes. Wonderful.
The Catman.
The Catman, Peter Criss.
Which I think fits in because the look is very, very pet cat-like.
Yeah.
I do like that it's also just some guy in like cat cosplay. Kind of. With music involved. It's like Cats the musical, but like it's the rock and roll version.
I mean, like, here's the thing. Everyone else in Kiss got a kick-ass
Star
persona.
Child. Yeah.
Star Child, the demon.
Yeah.
What's a space
ace.
Spaceman, space ace. And then you got the cat. Was Peter Criss like out running an errand for the band? Did they send him out like
he walks in with like a Burger King? Okay, band meeting over.
Yeah. So by the way, we decided you're the cat. What a bizarre thing to have to dress up as.
That's pretty funny.
For the next 10 years or however long he was in the band.
Yeah. Okay, well that's a good fallback. Okay, dudes. So this has been a fabulous discussion on the Mount Rushmore of Cats and some surprising choices, some really entertaining choices.
Some really fucked up choices.
Some really kind of effed up choices.
That's me.
Want to thank the listeners and observers out on social media for all their great suggestions. I think you guys mentioned Toonces, and oh my God, you're gonna get like double, triple points for that, Michael, because Tom Karki, Craig Rajoy, Whitney Sweeney, Erica Wright all mentioned Toonces and left fun links and things like that. Let me tell you about The Sleeper. I don't know if many of you out in the audience.
Sleeper, that's a pretty good Woody Allen movie.
Yeah.
But
and that's a pretty good definition of a cat.
That's a cat, total sleeper.
They sleep 18 hours a day.
And then they do something crazy. Like, they sleep 18 hours, then they jump from the floor to the top of the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how that?
Well, they're saving up all that energy. They've been thinking about getting up to those Cheerios all day.
You sleep all day and then do one kick-ass thing and you're redeemed.
It's like a Sims game where they have to like reset their power bar or something.
That's it. The Sleeper was the Cleveland Cats. I don't know if you remember these renderings.
Cleveland Cats?
Found
Were they on fire in the river?
Well, they weren't a comic strip. They were books, a collection of books, and then merchandised the heck out of them with calendars. I bought my grandmother a Cleveland Cat calendar every year for about 7 years. I don't think she ever put it up and cared. But pillowcases, coffee mugs, listeners.
Stuff that looks like this?
Jeff? That's it. A cat that looks like a meatloaf. Julie Watkins, Christy Patterson Veach, Katie Nestali Wood, and Laura Muller all chose that. Jonesy was chosen by Meredith McVitie.
Who?
And Jonesy from Alien. Ripley's cat. Bob DeRosa also chose Jonesy. Morris,
former
Patrick
guest
Kennedy.
of the show, Bob DeRosa.
Former guest, that's right.
30 Seconds to Live's
Bob DeRosa. That's right. So there's a lot of popular cats. So let's get into some ranking here. Why don't we do this? Let's do this thing. So, Manfredi. Some really esoteric, interesting choices, one of which we couldn't use. Cats the Musical.
It's too bad. I had some really good stuff on that, too.
Did you?
Not really.
Okay.
All of your Mungo Jerry stuff.
You heard the rest of the stuff I had. Did you think this was going to be miraculously better somehow?
Gonna have to give you big points and credit for Garfield because he was a fan favorite, and you tapped into the zeitgeist, and that's why that's your middle name.
It is?
Was it?
It's German.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
He's
Farfagnugan.
Yeah, he's part Italian, part
Mexican.
Yeah,
part Mexican. That's why you're so talented and
Zeitgeist.
That's why zeitgeist comes
Zeitgeisto.
Right. Yeah. And then so let's give a point there. Let's give a point to Toonces the Cat Could Drive. I think that might even be double. I don't know. It feels like it's a lot of points. Let's give 2 points.
It's at least 4.
It's at least 4? Okay.
So
Toonces the Cat Could Drive?
I don't necessarily need to double it. That's fine.
Okay.
Because you didn't put it in your Borglum bag.
I didn't put it in the bag.
So that's the official doubling of...
Yeah. Okay.
What was in your Borglum bag?
Garfield gets double, too.
Okay.
And let's do...
I don't know why that.
Let's do Felix the Cat, because there was a history lesson associated with it.
Yeah.
And now I've got to kind of figure out... This has to be some provenance because he's in the Guinness Book, Maru. So there we go. 2 and 2. These guys split it, I think. No?
7-4.
Pretty good for a guy who's running 3 horses, not 4 in the race.
Yeah, exactly. The last one was more of an exhibition horse. Exhibition cat.
This says, well, hey, guys, tune in next week when we will be discussing the Mount Rushmore of the year 2000.
The year 2000.
This has been the Mount Rushmore of Cats. I am always Jeff.
I'm always Richard.